Okay, so obligations of the agent. General obligations of the agent be all lawful orders and instructions of the principal within the scope of agency, and to act with utmost good faith and loyalty for furtherance of principal's interest, to exercise reasonable care, skill, and diligence. So what are the specific obligations of the agent to the principal? Of course, to carry out the agency which he has accepted. Except if the agent is not required to carry out an agency if its execution would manifestly result to loss or damage to the principal. Next obligation is to answer for damages which through his non-performance the principal may suffer. That's why he also has to act in utmost good faith. And once you've accepted an agency, if you're the agent, you have to finish the business that you already began. So, if the principal, for example, dies, diba, you should still continue with the agency unless otherwise stipulated. So whatever it is, whatever transaction it is that is the subject of the agency, you have to finish it. And the observation of diligence of a good father of a family in the custody and preservation of the goods forwarded to him by the owner in case he declines an agency until another agent is appointed. Okay, what else? Advance necessary funds should there be a stipulation to do so, of course subject to reimbursement, but the agent is not bound to provide for funds if the principal is of course insolvent. The agent will only advance the funds necessary to carry out the agency if kayang i-reimburse ng principal si agent sa mga ginastos niya. And another obligation is not to carry out the agency if its execution would manifestly result in loss or damage to the principal, as mentioned earlier. Answer for damages if there is conflict of interest between him, the agent, and the principal, should he prefer his own. Then not to loan to himself what was authorized for him to safeguard or to lend money at interest. So for example, if the agency is for lending purposes, ipaha-utang niya, bawal niyang utangin yun for himself. Unless na lang the principal also consents to the same. Agent may lend money to the principal, but the interest he may charge cannot be higher than the current rate of interest, legal rate, which is 6%. To render an account of his transactions and to deliver to the principal whatever he may have received by virtue of the agency, even though it may not be owing to the principal, because all profits made and advantage gained by the agent in the execution of the agency belong to the principal kasi he is acting on behalf of the principal and not of himself. And it matters not whether such profit or advantage be the result of the performance or of the violation of the duty of the agent, if it be the fruit of the agency. So kahit in violation siya dun sa tenor ng agency or sa what was agreed upon sa agency and nagkaroon ng fruits, still kailangan niyang i-remit yung fruits na yon sa principal. A stipulation exempting agent from duty to account or render an accounting is void because it's contrary to public policy. Why? Because it would encourage fraud. Diba? Because the agent has absolute duty to make full disclosure or accounting to his principal of all transactions and material facts that may have some relevance with the agency. Again, fiduciary kasi yung agency. But the obligation to account is not applicable in solutio indebiti cases where the right of lien exists in favor of the agent. The rule is also not applicable. Neither would the rule apply if the agent or broker had informed the principal of the gift or bonus or profit he received from the purchaser and this principal did not object thereto. The duty embodied in Article 1891 will not apply if the agent or broker acted only as a middleman with the task of merely bringing together the vendor and the vendee, who themselves thereafter will negotiate on the terms and conditions of the transaction. An agent who takes a secret profit is guilty of breach of his loyalty and forfeits his right to collect the commission. It does not even matter if the agency was a gratuitous one, or that the principal obtained better results, or that usage or custom allows a receipt of such bonus. Bawal yun. Bawal bad faith. Kailangan good faith lagi. Okay? What else do we discuss? Diligence of good father family. We all know that, diba? Ano yun? I will add Oblicon videos din naman later. Okay. The agent may appoint a substitute if the principal has not prohibited him from doing so. Ito yung sub-agent or substitute talaga. But the agent shall be responsible for the acts of the substitute when he was not given the power to appoint one. Walang sinabi sa principal, pero wala ding prohibition, na importanteng walang prohibition. And when he was given such power but without designating the person, and the person appointed was notoriously incompetent or insolvent. So, ano yung sub-agent? Person employed or appointed by an agent as his agent to assist him in the performance of an act or of the principal, which the agent has empowered to perform. So, as a general rule, again, the agent may appoint a sub-agent. An agent in this situation is the principal with respect to the substitute. Pero, mababayin pa rin si principal. Parang extension ng agent yon. The exception is bawal yung sub-agent if it's prohibited by the principal and when the work entrusted to the agent is to carry out a special knowledge, skill, or competence that the agent specifically possesses. So, kaya ka nga ginawang agent kasi ikaw yung nakita ni principal na capable dyan, ikaw tinatrust niya na gumawa niyan. So, kapag ka dinelegate mo yan sa iba, medyo na-defeat yung purpose ng agency. What is the effect of death of principal or agent? It will depend from whom the authority of the sub-agent was derived with respect to sub-agent. If the sub-agent derives authority from the principal, then the death of the agent who appointed him does not affect his authority. Kasi aware din and baka sinabi rin ni principal na kumuha ka ng sub-agent. But if it's the agent who appointed him, then the death of the agent terminates his authority. Why? Because na-derive ni sub-agent yung authority niya dun sa agent. So, wala. Diba? Parang agent, parang principal niya yung agent, yun yung labas. So, substitution is expressly prohibited. In cases when substitution is expressly prohibited, then all acts of the substitute shall be void talaga. And the agent is personally liable for the acts of the substitute as though the contracts of the substitute were his own, and principal would have no cause of action against the substitute. If the principal authorized the substitute was designated by the agent, it has the effect of releasing the agent from his responsibility unless the person appointed is notoriously incompetent or insolvent, tapos si agent yung pumili. Sub-agent. The substitute was designated by the principal, it's an absolute exemption of the agent. Kasi parang agent na rin ni principal talaga directly. If the substitution is not authorized but is not prohibited, then it's generally allowed. If the substitution caused damage to the principal, then the agent shall be primarily responsible for the acts of the substitute. What happens if there are two or more agents? The responsibility of two or more agents, even though they have been appointed simultaneously, is not solidary. If solidarity has not been expressly stipulated, again, basic concept, you don't presume solidarity. It's always joint. It's only solidary if it's express. Agents appointed by one or more principals under such circumstances wherein joint sila na agents, okay? Or it would infer that they are joint agents. It was the principal's intent to have joint agents. Then they are joint agents. Their responsibility is joint. Unless na lang, solidary, yung express stipulation. So, ano naman pag joint? Pag joint yung agents, they're, kanya-kanya sila. Kapag solidary, kasi, di ba, each agent is responsible for the non-fulfillment of the agency and fault or negligence of his fellow agents. Liability of agent for interest. The agent owes interest on the sums he has applied to his own use from the day on which he did so, and on those which he still owes after the extinguishment. The agent who converted to his personal use the funds of the principal is liable for interest by way of compensation or indemnity, which is different from interest for delay. And it shall be computed from the day he did so without prejudice to any criminal action for the conversion, kasi bawal yan. Well, there is no liability for interest on sums which have not been converted for the agent's own use. The agent who is found to owe the principal sums after the extinguishment of the agency is liable for interest from the date the agency is extinguished. So as a general rule, agent is not personally liable to third persons, except na lang if there's fraud or negligence on the part of the agent acts in his own name, unless the contract involves things belonging to the principal. A person acts as an agent of an incapacitated principal unless a third party was aware of the incapacity at the time of making the contract. When a person acts as an agent without the authority or without a principal. Another is if the agent expressly binds himself, the agent exceeds his authority. So if the agent contracts in the name of the principal exceeding the scope of his authority, the principal does not ratify the contract, again, it's unenforceable but can be ratified. But if hindi na ratify, it shall be void if the party with whom the agent contracted is aware of the limits of the powers granted by the principal. In this case, however, the agent is liable if he undertook to secure the principal's ratification. If the party with whom the agent contracted is unaware of the limits of the powers granted by the principal, the contract is unenforceable. The agent is not bound or liable if, again, the principal ratifies the act, or when the agent is given a third person sufficient notice of the extent of his power to put him on guard, when the third person is aware of the limits of the agent's power. And acts of agents prevent performance on the part of the principal. That also makes the agent liable. So, instances when third party is liable towards the agent demand where the agent contracts in his own name for an undisclosed principal, in which case the agent may sue the third party to enforce the contract. Where the agent possesses a beneficial interest in the subject matter of the agency, where the agent pays money of his principal to a third party by mistake or under a contract which proves subsequently to be illegal, the agent being ignorant with respect to its illegal nature, and where the third party commits a tort against the agent. So the scope of agent's authorities to third persons includes not only the actual authorization conferred upon the agent by his principal, but also what is apparent or impliedly delegated to him. When authority is not in writing, every person dealing with an assumed agent is put upon inquiry and must discover upon his peril if he would hold the principal liable, not only the fact that the agents of the agency, but the nature and extent of the authority of the agent. If there's no inquiry, he is chargeable with knowledge of the agent's authority, and his ignorance of that authority will not be any excuse. Dapat may reasonable inquiry naman, parang due diligence on the part of the third persons transacting with the agent. When authority is in writing, such person is not required to inquire further than the terms written, the power of attorney. So what are the methods of broadening and restricting agent's authority? Usage and customs. Except na lang where it is sought to vary the terms of an express authorization, where it is sought thereby to dispense with a legal requirement enacted for the principal's benefit, where it is sought to vary an essential quality of the agency relationship, and where it is sought thereby to change a rule of law or as to dispense with a formality required by law or by necessity. The agent's enlarged authority is exercised for the principal's protection. We already discussed this earlier. If there is an emergency, again, the emergency must be existing. The means adopted are reasonable under the circumstances, and the agent is unable to communicate with the principal. We already discussed this earlier. By certain doctrines, like the doctrine of apparent authority, we already discussed. Estoppel, we already discussed as well, and ratification. By implication and by the rule of iusdem generis. What is iusdem generis? Give effect to both particular and general words. Okay. So responsibility of principal where agent acted with improper motives. So the motive of an agent in entering into contract with third person is actually immaterial. Except na lang where the third person knew that the agent was acting for his private benefit, where the owner is seeking recovery of personal property of which he has been unlawfully deprived. So ratification, I will not discuss that anymore. Departure from principal's instruction is justified if there's a sudden emergency or the instructions are ambiguous. Insubstantial departure is when an agent may not be said to have breached agency when there's insubstantial departure, meaning there's hindi to the letter yung pagsunod ni agent, but it doesn't really affect the transaction. It's the same, essentially. Wala namang damage done. Hindi lang walang damage done, parang napakaliit ng deviance to really matter. Factor commission agent, a person whose business is to receive and sell goods entrusted to him by the principal for a commission, and is usually selling in his own name. The commission agent shall be responsible for the goods received by him and the terms and conditions as described in the consignment, unless upon receiving them, he should make a written statement of the damage and deterioration suffered by the same. He is a broker, a middleman or intermediary, on behalf of others and for a commission or fee. Negotiates or contracts transactions relating to real or personal property and never acting in his own name but in the name of those who employed him. So, ano yung kinaiba? Commission agent needs to have possession of the goods. Ordinary agent, no need to have possession. Broker, no need to have possession. As to representation, a commission agent sells in his own name. An ordinary agent transacts in the name of the principal. A broker transacts in the name of those who employed him. So, rule when the commission agent is authorized to sell on credit, meaning, di ba bayaran? Utang. He shall inform the principal with the statement of the names of the buyers. Guarantee commission, should the commission agent receive on sale, in addition to the ordinary commission, another called a guarantee commission, he shall bear the risk of collection and shall pay the principal the proceeds of the sale on the same terms agreed upon with the purchaser. So the purpose of the commission is to compensate the agent for the inconvenience and the risks he has to undergo in the collection of the purchase price payable to the principal. Liability of a del credere agent. Okay, contingent. The buyer fails to pay, he shall still pay the principal. He has no right to invoke the benefit of excusation because he is not really a guarantor. Precisely, he is given an additional commission for this obligation because he assumes the risk of collection for the principal. So, limited to the payment of purchase prices, does not extend to other obligations arising from. So, ano ba yung excusation? Benefit of excusation. Benefit entities surety to require the creditor first to sue the principal debtor and try to obtain payment. So, bawal from the proceeds of his assets before calling upon surety to pay. Who may sue the buyer failed to pay? It's either the principal or the del credere agent may sue the buyer. So the commission agent does not collect the credits of his principal at the time when they become due and demandable and shall be liable for damages unless he proves that he exercised due diligence for that purpose. What are the specific obligations of a commission agent? To be responsible for the goods received by him in the terms and conditions as described in the consignment, unless upon receiving them you should make a written statement of the damage and deterioration suffered by the same. If he handles goods of the same kind and mark belonging to different owners, to distinguish them by countermarks and designate merchandise respectively belonging to each principal. To not sell on credit without the express or implied consent of the principal. Should he do so, the principal may demand from him payment in case, but the commission agent shall be entitled to any interest or benefit which may result from such sale. If he is authorized to sell on credit, to inform principal with a statement of the names of the buyers. Should he fail to do so, the sale shall be deemed to have been made for cash insofar as the principal is concerned. To bear the risk of collection and pay the principal the proceeds of the sale on the same terms agreed upon with the purchaser, if he should receive on sale, in addition to the ordinary commission, a guarantee commission. To be liable for damages if he does not collect credits of his principal at the time when they become due, unless he proves that he exercised due diligence for that purpose. So what about brokers? Commission of brokers. The brokers are entitled to their commission because they were instrumental in the sale of the property. They set the sale in motion. That's their duty. In the absence of an express contract between the broker and his principal, the implication generally is that the broker becomes entitled to the usual commissions. What's factorage? It's a compensation of a factor or commission agent. So that's it for the obligations of the agent. Next video, we will be discussing obligations of the principal, and then yung last would be the extinguishment. So obligations of a principal. Duties and liabilities of principal are primarily based upon contract and the validity of contract between them in addition to his contractual duties. The principal is under an obligation to deal fairly and in good faith with his agent. So, yung obligations ng principal, medyo na-discuss na rin natin when we talked about agency, yung general concepts, and yung obligations ng agent. So, specific obligations of principal to agent: to comply with all obligations which the agent may have contracted within the scope of his authority, to advance to the agent should the latter so request the sums necessary for the execution of the agency, to reimburse the agent for what the latter has advanced plus interest even if the business was not successful, provided the agent was free from fault. Ginawa naman ni agent yung trabaho niya. To indemnify the agent for all the damages which the execution of the agency may have caused such agent if without the fault or negligence of the agent. To pay the agent compensation agreed upon. Or if walang compensation, again, we already discussed this, the reasonable value of the agent's services. So for any obligation wherein the agent has exceeded his power, again, the principal is not bound, except when he, ulit-ulit tayo dito, expressly or tacitly ratifies the actions of the agent. Kasi unenforceable nga yan kapag ultra vires unless nilang i-ratify. Principal is bound by the agent's act done within the scope of the latter's authority. So as a general rule, whatever has been done or executed by the agent within the scope of his authority and in the name of the principal is binding upon the principal. Consequently, the principal must comply with all the obligations arising from the authorized acts of the agent. Again, the reason being the act of the agent is also the act of the principal. So, binding effect of contracts made without authority or outside the scope of authorities as general rule. If beyond powers, again, unenforceable, except na lang if na-ratify or if may apparent authority, the principal allowed it, or when the principal has revoked the agency but the third party has acted in good faith without notice of the revocation. So, liability of third persons to principal. Third person is liable to the principal upon contracts entered into by the agent in the same manner as though the contract was entered into by the principal himself, because the agent is acting on behalf or in representation of the principal. The third person's tort liability to the principal arises if the third person damages or injures property or interest of the principal in agent's possession, where third person colludes with the agent to injure or defraud the principal, where third person induces the agent to violate his contract with the principal to betray the trust reposed upon him by the principal. So, in the absence of law or the possession by the agent of apparent authority or circumstances of estoppel against the principal may recover property from the agent's transferee. So, a negotiable instrument, the law protects third parties who are holders in due course. The principal is civilly liable to third persons for torts of an agent committed at the principal's direction or in the course and within the scope of the agent's employment, whether the tort is committed willfully or negligently has no effect on the extent or degree of the principal's liability. So, motivation deviation test. The bounds of the agent's authority are not the limits of the principal's tort liability, but rather the scope of the employment, which may or may not be within the bounds of authority. Scope of employment is much wider than scope of authority. So, requisites for vicarious liability for tort: satisfactory evidence that the employee in doing the act or in doing of which the tort was committed was motivated in part or at least by a desire to serve his employer, and satisfactory evidence that the act in doing so which the tort is committed was not an extreme deviation from the normal conduct of such employee. So what may be ratified, valid acts, voidable acts, unrevoked acts, even criminal acts and tortious acts. Pero yung mga void ab initio, bawal na yan i-ratify. Even when the agent has exceeded his authority, the principal is solidarily liable with the agent if the former allowed the latter to act as though he had full powers or has apparent authority. So we already discussed doctrine of apparent authority and estoppel. Okay, what else are the obligations of the principal? To advance funds, as discussed. Obligation to indemnify damages. So the principal must also indemnify the agent for all damages which the execution of the agency may have caused such agent. Basta walang fault or negligence ni agent. The agent may retain and pledge things which are the object of agency until the principal effects the reimbursement and pays the indemnity set forth in pays the indemnity if there are damages. There's obligation to pay damages or obligation to advance the funds. So, parang may liyan siya over those things. So, right to retain and pledge objects. Kasi kailangan niyang i-reimburse or kailangan niyang bayaran yung damages suffered by the agent, or yun nga, reimbursement of the expenses in the execution of the agent. Kasi para na nga sa kanya yun. Kahit for compensation pa yan, of course, iba naman yun. So, joint principals, two or more persons who appoint an agent for a common transaction or undertaking. If two or more persons have appointed an agent for a common transaction or undertaking, they shall be solidarily liable to the agent for all consequences of the agency. If two persons contract separately with agent and principal, then one of them with the agent, for example, and the other with the principal, and the two contracts are incompatible with each other, hindi necessarily na preferred yung contract with the principal. Kung sino yung nauna, prior date, that shall be the preference. Okay. As a general rule, where the fault of crime committed by the agent is not in the performance of obligation of the principal is not bound. Unless na lang if, may authority ni principal. Or may instructions ni principal. Or if done to secure a contract through fraud or makes a fraudulent alienation, basta may hand then si principal are imputable din kay principal, then principal will be liable as well. Yung labas niya parang principal sa crime, no? Ganun. Okay, so that's it lang pala for obligations of the principal.